Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam. Tonight, inshallah ta'ala, there's going to be thousands of people in this room who are gathering together because we have a deep attachment to a man who actually is everything that you think he is. I was blessed to share a stage a few years ago for the first time with our brother Khabib in Toronto. Earlier that morning, I was walking through Washington Square Park in the West Village of Manhattan with my two kids. We were headed to brunch, and my son said to me, "Baba, who's the most famous person you've ever met?" And I pulled out my phone and I showed him a video of a young Khabib. Probably you all have seen it too, wrestling a bear as a child. And I said, well, tonight I'm going to speak at something where this man is speaking and being honored for so much that he has achieved in his life today. My children watched this video, and then my daughter Medina said to my son Kareem, "This man is going to destroy Baba." And my son said to his big sister, "Yeah, there's no way Baba is going to be able to even land a punch on him." I said to them, aside from the fact that I'm not going to fight this man, I'm glad to think that you perceive your father to be the weakest human being in the world. And I said to them, what do you think I should tell people who are coming to hear him, see him, take from his company? And they said, Baba, just tell people that it's important to treat people well. Tell them to be kind, tell them to be compassionate, tell them to stop being jerks to one another. As Sheikh Abdullah mentioned, I just returned from Lebanon where we were packing food parcels to provide critical aid to our sisters and brothers in Gaza. May Allah end the genocidal violence and occupation that's taking place there and make us a generation that witnesses a free Palestine in our lifetime. In December of 2023, I actually went to Rafah. Before that, I didn't really have too much of an understanding of what I was going to see on the ground itself. And then some months later, before Ramadan of 2024, I went back and I visited children from Gaza who you see fueling your social media feeds. People missing limbs, missing eyes, people who have inhaled white phosphorus gas. I held babies in my arms who were 3 weeks of age, whose mothers said to me that they gave birth in the dirt of Rafah. No anesthetic, no drugs, as women around them were having C-sections in the same ways. Young children who literally had entire buildings collapse on them as missiles struck. The fortunate amongst them, they fell unconscious, but many of them, they stayed for hours under the rubble, witnessing their loved ones pass away. Why is it important for us to understand? There's going to be different things that are happening tonight, but you're going to have an opportunity to hear from people who are doing good work on the ground, that are seeking right now to still be a means of support for individuals that so much of the world has forgotten. And the beauty of a person like Khabib is that he's willing to leverage his celebrity not for his own grandeur or self-aggrandizing, but to call people to still be vehicles of good in a world that is filled with such difficulty and darkness. My kids told me years ago when I first spoke at an event with him to remind people that they have to be agents of goodness, beauty, care, and compassion as well. And if you came here tonight to simply be entertained, then you are not really recognizing what it is that attracts you to this man in the first place. The world that we live in is a world that is rooted in an idea of looking at yourself, but not for yourself. identified by brands and logos that are purposely placed on the outer parts of your garments. There's a reason why the ornaments are on the hoods of the car and not tucked away someplace hidden. Ali radiallahu an, the cousin of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says detachment isn't to not own anything of the world, but detachment is to not let anything of the world own you. And whether you are aware of it or not, what brings you to a place of finding admiration in a man such as Khabib is that he has actually let himself be disciplined and self-restrained in such a way that his strength is not about his physical prowess or how it is that he brings people to the ground, but the mode in which he is able to actually exert an ethical conduct and be consistent in who it is that he is in any place and space, because he has learned how to discipline his inner self. And without a doubt, that stems from his belief in the divine. A commitment to a faith that teaches him to live bigger than anything of what this materialistic world offers in terms of success. And the two things go hand in hand, because we can choose to be the reason people have hope in this world, or we can choose to be the reason that people find dread in it. And it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing or where it is that anybody else seeks to set the norms. You are tonight going to hear from a person whose discipline enables him to be consistent in who it is that he is, regardless of what it is that others might offer him to be other than what it is that he knows he should be. And if you walk away from this gathering with anything, you want to adopt that sense of ethics, character, and conduct as well. To live in a mode that is bigger than the self, to not become somebody who submits to your own base whims and desires. And to recognize that in a consumer-driven society where everything and anything is rooted simply in doing whatever it is that you feel like, you're going to hear from somebody who is trying to do what is right simply because it's the right thing to do, and knows that a key ingredient and variable in allowing for that to take place is keeping your inner self in check. And if you find admiration in this, if you find attraction in discipline and consistency, if you're in a place where you find his mode of being to be something that has more qualitative admirability to it than anything else, because there's other people who have won titles, there's other people who have had success in the same rings, there's other people who have achieved in the same modes, but they end up carrying themselves in ways that seem as if they are not tethered to anything that is greater than their own sense of self-aggrandizing. Which one do you find beauty to be in? And if you can recognize it, then understand whatever brought you in the seats today, and you hear from him what it is that he is going to offer to you, don't also fail to hear from every other person, and allow for your heart and your spirit to be in a place of discipline, so that we are not from amongst those who utilize our spiritual gifts, our spiritual talents, everything we've been endowed with, to simply be serving of ourselves, but to be in a place where somebody who is willing to leverage his celebrity and gather thousands of people so that you can hear from people what it's actually like for babies in Gaza right now to be going through what they're going through. To be in a place where many of you quite often are the only ones who think and believe what it is you believe, in office places and companies that don't even acknowledge an iota and make you feel that your Islam is a liability and not an asset. You can find strength through the others who are around you to know that you are not alone, and somebody who has had every sense of success in the world is still able to do that without compromising on the truest of success, which is a control of the inner self. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll walk away tonight with just a little bit of what it is that he has been able to master, so that our hearts can start to have control over the rest of our beings. And we will also be the reason people, inshallah, have hope in this world, and never the reason that people might dread it. Wallahu ta'ala alam, wa billahi tawfiq, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.